Welcome back, everybody, to this Tableau for FIRST Robotics video course presented by FRC Team 2834. Here is video 10, and we're going to go through sorting with filters, creating dashboards, and creating stories. Let's get started. So here we are in Tableau, and we're going to start with filtering our data. So I'm going to go to our dot plot here, or actually no, we're going to go to dot size. And here we had two different measures where one measure, auto outer port, was dot size, and the other measure, auto low port, was the dot's position on the y-axis, and each section on the x-axis was team number. So we want to filter our data. What does that mean? That means we want only a specific amount of data points to actually factor into this chart. So let's say we want to filter by team number, meaning we only want to show the team numbers that we want to show. We have a total of 6 teams in our data set, but let's say we only want to show 2 of them, or we want to exclude some of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click on team number and click filter. Another option for this is to drag team number over here into filters. And we're going to select the type of filter we want. Now there are several different types of filters. The first type of filter we're going to go through is a select from list, where you can check if you want these teams included. So you do that, you hit OK, and you want to say show filter because the filter is automatically hitting. And the filter will show over here. So now everything that is checked is included. So say I don't want to include team 9988 on this graph, I can uncheck it, and there it goes. And then this all button just brings everything back. If I want to edit the filter, I can right-click on it or hit this arrow and hit Edit Filter. So I'm back over here to the Select from List thing. What if I want my list to be exclusive, meaning everything is on there by default, and as I check something off, it disappears? Then I would check the Exclude box in a Select from List filter and hit OK. And now everything is checked, so nothing is shown. And if everything is unchecked, then everything will be shown. And if I want to exclude team 9988 and 9989, then they can be excluded from my data. Perfect. Now let's look at some other types of filters. I'm going to go back to Edit Filter. So that was a Select from List filter. Now there's another type. How about a Custom Value List? Let's see what that looks like. We're going to hit OK. So a Custom Value List, right now I believe we have it set to Exclude. Right now it will add to the filter any item that I type in. So say I want team 9988 to be excluded. I type it in and I hit this plus button, and now it disappears. And if I want to bring it back, I can hit the X. Say I also want team 9989 to be excluded. I click plus. So it's, instead of taking all the values and putting them into a list from what it already knows, I'm actually typing in the values myself. And that's important when you don't exactly know what teams are in your data and you just want to type a certain team number to filter your data. So let's go back to Edit Filter and see what else we have. We have wildcard filters, which are, it's kind of like a value. So say we want all teams that contain 9, and we hit OK. All our teams contain a 9, so that's what happens. So what if we want a team that contains a 1? Just 9991 contains a 1. All right, we're going to go back to Edit Filter. We can do conditional filters. We're not going to go through those too much, and top filters. So the most common filter you're going to use is a general Select from List filter, and occasionally you'll probably use a common value list filter. There are also wildcard condition filters, top filters, limit filters, but we're not going to go through those right now. Okay, now let's talk about dashboards. Once you have a bunch of different charts and you end up having to scroll side to side on this menu bar down here, you're going to want to condense everything, and some of your charts might go together. So what you can do is create what's called a dashboard, which is basically a page that has multiple charts on it. So we're going to create a dashboard. Instead of clicking this new chart, new worksheet plus button, we're going to go one to the right and click this new dashboard button. It kind of looks like a four-sided or a window cut into 4 pieces. So we're going to click plus there, And now we have this new dashboard called Dashboard 1, and we can right-click and rename that if we want to. So let's say on this dashboard I want my dot size chart and my dot plot chart that are down here on it, side by side. Well, all my charts are listed right here on the side, so all I have to do is take them and drag it into here. So there's one, and you can see the filter that I just made popped up. Let's say I don't want my filter to be on there. I'm just going to hit the X on this card. It's called a card. This square box is called a card. So right now it's just one card I have, which is this chart. And let's say I want to add a second chart, my dot plot. I can drag it. Now as I drag it, there are a couple different places it can go. It can go here and it'll divide it to the left. You can go here and it'll divide to the right. You can go here and it'll be on the top, vertical divide, or you can go here and it'll put it on the bottom. Let's say I want left and right. So dot size will be on the left and dot plot will be on the right. And you can do a bunch of other things. I could bring my calculated field chart here. If you don't want to scroll all the way down here, this is a very helpful tip. So I can't see the bottom of my chart because the size of my dashboard window is just too large. So what I can do is I can insert a vertical, which is just a blank card, and that'll push everything up. So I'm going to drag vertical into here and get this horizontal rectangle. I'm going to let go. So now I have this blank card and it's pushed all of my charts up. So I can leave it like that, or if I want it to fill the whole page that's visible, I can drag the size of my vertical down to here. And now if I scroll up and down, as I scroll all the way to the top, I can still see both of my charts just fine. All right, so I can also do cross-chart filtering. And this is very useful in dashboards. So I'm going to actually delete this sheet, and I'm going to bring in another sheet that has a team. So let's say auto low scoring. So we're going to do some cross-chart filtering, and here's how that works. I'm going to go back to my chart from here. Easy way to get back to it is you can click on this arrow here when you click on the card. So this little window arrow. You can also just click on the chart, but I like to click on the arrow. So we have our filter that we've typed in here. This filter, let's see what type of filter it was. This is a custom value list filter. We're actually going to make it a select from list filter that is exclusive. So it's going to exclude values. Now let's say I want this same filter to apply to this chart as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to bring the filter back into here. I know I deleted it. So I can delete this chart just to bring the filter back in, dot size. Here we go. And there's my filter. It's down here. I'm going to bring this back up here so I can see it a bit better. Okay, so we've got this list. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click or click on this arrow on this filter, edit filter. Make sure it is a select from list filter and it's exclusive. Great. Oh, that's what happened. I didn't click OK. Always click OK, not the X. All right, there we go. So now that filter is working over here. It's excluding all my values. Let's just say I just want to exclude 2 of them. But what if I want to apply it to this chart as well? I'm going to right click or hit on this arrow. I'm going to go over Apply to Worksheets. And right now it's said only this worksheet, which is only the dot size worksheet. But I want selected worksheets. So I'm going to click Selected Worksheets. If you're right, by default, it's just going to show the 2 worksheets or whatever worksheets you have on your dashboard. If you wanted to see all the worksheets you have in your workbook, you have to click Show All Worksheets in your workbook down here, and it'll show everything. And the Auto Low Port chart is the one I have, so I'm going to check on that and OK. And now this filter applies to both of these worksheets with the same filter. So that makes it very easy, especially on dashboards, to filter all of the charts that you have on a single dashboard. When you do drag a chart into a dashboard, if it has a key like this, where it's a key for the dot sizes, it will make its own card for that. And sometimes these just get in the way, so you can click X on that card and it'll just get rid of it. All right, so now we're going to move on to stories. What a story is is a collection of charts or dashboards. You can't put a dashboard into another dashboard, but you can put a dashboard into a story, as well as other charts into a story. So let's say I want to drag that dashboard 1 I just created into this story. Great. I can add a little caption on this page, blah, blah, blah. And I can create a second page to my story. Maybe that has trend lines, and I drag this over here. Perfect. So really, these are buttons that go to different pages of the story. Say I want a third one over here. And each page, you can consider it like a dashboard, except you can have multiple dashboards in the same story. Well, actually, no. You can only have one thing in the story. So if I try to drag another chart into here to go next to this dashboard, it won't work. It'll have me replace it. So that's why there are multiple pages on stories. I usually don't use stories. I usually use dashboards. I feel like they're easier to manipulate, and here you have to click on these page numbers, and it's not very simple. But it's always an option to you. You can rename the story whatever you want. So something I forgot to mention is when you put something in a dashboard, you can hide that Sheets tab down here. So Auto Low Port, I can right-click on it, because it's in my dashboard, and I can hit hide. And I can do the same with, which one was it? Dot size. I can right click on that and hit hide. If, for instance, dot plot wasn't in there, if I right click on this, hide is not going to be an option. So that allows you to condense whatever's down here, make it visually more appealing, and so you don't have to scroll between your charts once you have a lot of them. Now they didn't disappear, they're still in the dashboard, and if you ever need to get back to them to edit them, you can click on the chart in the dashboard and on this Go To Sheet arrow, and you're back in the sheet. Now once you click away from it, that'll go back into hiding, but if you want to unhide it, you can click on the arrow, go to the sheet, right click on there, unhide sheet. Or, let's hide it again, if you want to unhide all the sheets in a dashboard, you can right click on the dashboard and hit unhide all sheets, and it'll unhide both of them. And another really cool thing you can do with charts, and that makes your dashboards look really cool, is you can format these to be a nice background color. So often what I'll do with a chart when I'm comparing two alliances is I'll have two of the same chart, but I filter it so that on the left side of the chart I have the blue alliance data, and on the right side of the chart I have the red alliance data. I'm just going to drag this to make it even. So I have the blue alliance data and the red alliance data on either side of the dashboard, and I can compare the two alliances to try and predict who's going to win and a good strategy going forward. So to do that, you can go to each of your charts, and let's say I wanted this one to be the blue alliance. I can hit Format and Shading, and then I want to format the color of the worksheet. Right now it's white. All the background is white. I can click on this, and I can hit on blue, and now the background turns blue. And then let's say I want dot size to be red, the background can be red. And I can close this Format tab by hitting the X, and I can see my pill tree again. So that looks a lot cooler in a dashboard, doesn't it? You can see your red alliance and your blue alliance both together. My filters still apply. So dashboards and stories are yet another great feature of Tableau that allows you to condense your data and make it look more appealing, and also make it easier to analyze and derive strategies from. So next time we're going to be talking about multiple data sources. See you then.